is not an option.
Your most valuable currency is your time. Shake off the feeling of fear.
Welcome to the Noble Faculty.
Welcome to the Noble Faculty Podcast. Welcome to the Noble Faculty Podcast.
Welcome to part 2 of Vulnerability is Beautiful episode, brought to you by Noble Faculty Podcast. Please enjoy.
Roll drum, shout out.
We're all connected through Smade.
That's true, actually,
And that's no, it's true.
That's
Because
true, yeah.
if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have met.
True.
And look at us today. We're here, doing our thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Shout out to
I had
Smade,
to
by the way.
mention that in order to be able to like explain this properly.
Yeah, it's true.
And I remember like
I didn't want to be vulnerable.
I was telling Toba the story of how I actually met Smade and started doing like parties with Smade.
Smade, yeah.
It was Oyindi that introduced me.
Oh, yeah.
She brought me to the party.
Shout out to Oyindi.
Then, yeah, exactly. Shout out to Oyindi. And I met Smade. And I literally, I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I think I had an idea of, I think I was already thinking of doing parties from attending other parties like maybe Coco Cure or those parties like those, Alex OG and them that they used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
So when I then saw
And
the
the
whole Smade
Seductive Saturdays as
situation,
well.
remember it was like an Elephant and Castle those days.
Yeah. Club Virgo.
Exactly. I was like, okay, I have an ideas of, things we could maybe do together. Yeah. So I approached him and the rest is history. That's what I told you that day. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's true, actually.
when I think about it, you think of like, what made me do that? Like,
I told you about this story, but I
Yeah.
want to mention it for the podcast.
yeah.
So, some people might know I've got a background in video production, photography,
Yep.
that kind of stuff, and I was at the point where I wanted to start producing documentaries, and this is where Fair comes in now, and I'll let you understand.
Yeah.
And when you came on board with Smade, you produced. This was the first time Smade had like a video advert, and I remember it so vividly. It was a nighttime shot of London, City of London, Canary Wharf area, and it had Jay-Z's "The City Is Mine" in it, and you guys were using that to advertise the Smade party. I saw that, and I wanted to give up video production altogether. It was so good. I had to rethink my whole career.
Your whole plan.
Like, yo, why are boys producing something this good? It was that good that it was fair. I was like, rah. I didn't like Femi for a while. Not as a person. I just didn't
Public
like.
disclaimer, guys, is Draken. Just so you know.
This is a very good example of Drake. I was like, number one, who is he? Where did he come from? And
Like, how dare you?
Yeah, like, why
Why
you
you do that?
like serious? Like, I was like, I'm not lying. Like,
Do you know what? I remember he called me like, Sharif,
who?
Alpha, wait, who's that for me more?
Yeah,
Who's he?
who?
I'm like, is one of Smith's boy. I don't really know him, I just met him as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, okay, fine. And that was it.
It was just who? And I never even told Smade this. I've never asked Smade about you. It's just for me. I saw that
You
video.
never told me till a couple of days
Yeah,
ago.
I saw the video and I said, who did this video? And it's like, this guy. I was like, who is he? And this is the thing about you following your passion or doing what you wanted to do. In that moment, you hadn't organized parties before.
No.
Up until that point. But you were like, you know what? I enjoy doing this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then you added your touch to it by doing those type of videos.
Exactly.
And for me, that thing just intimidated me. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I'm being vulnerable here. Yeah, since we're talking about
You're allowed
vulnerability.
to Drake. You're allowed to
You're
Drake.
allowed to,
But
man.
I'm not
You're allowed
gonna
to
lie.
break.
I had to rethink everything, and I think that was when fear started to set in for me personally, where I used to always weigh myself against other people,
Yeah.
and if I feel I don't measure up to those people, I won't even do it out of the fear of failing. I'm not going into it. So
Do you know what I'm now thinking? Like, I'm thinking, obviously, like this is all hindsight, or whatever we want to call it, but like you had access to me back then. You could have even spoken to me, but yeah, you could.
Have you ever had a situation where somebody produces something and you like, I wish I did that? That was what this was.
But that's true though. You had access to him though.
Yeah.
I, no, I'm not
But
saying I
obviously,
didn't.
like,
But
I'm
you
not
probably
saying I
wasn't
didn't.
thinking
I
like
was,
that
yeah.
back then.
For me,
Also-
it was a competition.
Also, we don't value the access we have sometimes.
This is true.
We
This
don't.
is true. You
'Cause
don't
I've
value
got
the
access
people
to you.
around you.
It's so funny because like we had a little talk yesterday. I've got some ideas I was going to share with you.
Yeah.
But it's like, but if you follow Femi talk now, oh, by the way, guys, I love to speak in broken English and Yoruba, just so you know.
We have a very international audience here. United States, France.
You know, whatever. Ça va, bonjour, you know, everything all
Might
together.
want to go easy on a Yoruba.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Mr. Sharif.
Thank. Oh, by the way, I'm Igbo as well, just so you know. I'm Igbo.
you
Yes,
are
I am
This
Igbo.
guy is a fraud. He's not one of us.
I am Igbo.
Always forget that.
And my mom is not even Nigerian. She's from Benin Republic, so she's French, francophone country.
Let's not talk about your
Wait a
mom.
minute. So your dad is Igbo.
He's the only Igbo
And your
person.
mom is from Benin
Benin
Republic.
Republic, yes. But I speak Yoruba like fluently.
Let's not talk about his mom because
Yeah.
his mom's a spice.
Okay.
Oh, hey, don't go there, bro. Don't go there.
Yeah.
Let's
Look at the
move
look on his face.
Do you know what?
I'm
Ew.
sweating.
Ew.
I don't want his nasty tissue.
Like, yeah.
Wait, like bless my mom, man. Shout out to you, mom, wherever you are. Like, God bless
Yes,
you.
mommy
Shout out
Benz.
Sherry's
Yeah,
mom.
man, yeah. Mommy, he calls her Benz, you know.
Benz.
Mommy Benz.
He just calls
Let's
her
not get
Oh,
Benz.
into it.
Benz.
Let's
Like
not
a- like
get
a
into
Benzo,
it.
Mercedes.
Let's not get into it.
Yeah. I
Let's
don't know.
not.
I don't know if I want to know
Mate.
your reasoning behind
I'm
that.
going to poison him one day.
Of course.
I
Wow.
will say this publicly. We are very good friends until it comes to your mom.
Oh my God.
And then anything happens. Anything goes.
It's from his face right now. Like, what the hell? You know, today, yeah, it feels like Femi's been ambushed mentally.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of like,
he's not
process
ready. He's not
today.
ready.
He's been
There's
mentally
been a lot to
ambushed.
process,
You know,
man.
off the camera, you know, off the record, like, it's been ambushed today. But yeah, don't worry. We'll get to it
Shout out to
later.
my wife. I love you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Shout out to my ex girl. I love you all.
Oh no. Wow. I like. Oh,
Good, I did that. Oh, listen,
I am not.
they made it
editing
possible.
that, but
They made it possible.
Yeah.
Bro, all your exes made it possible to be where you are today.
you know what? Yeah.
It's all lessons.
Yeah.
It's a lesson
fair
and a
enough.
blessing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's a part of,
So
you know.
yes, I will shout them out because
Yeah.
they helped me become a better man. You know, I learned
Yeah.
from my mistakes, from my flaws, and I'm still building it.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. As much as I uncomfortably admit to that, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's our past mistakes, our past pains that
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all part of the journey.
it's
It
part
is,
of the
man.
journey.
It
You're
is.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't like how he's making sense today. He's making.
I'm
too
very
much sense.
unconventional, by the way. So yeah,
You're.
Yeah.
I'll leave it.
Yeah.
So
Well, wait, what was the point we were even discussing? Like we strayed so
Low.
So this was so. I was talking about how, based on what you did, you were following your passion.
Yes.
But
yes.
your passion became an intimidation for me at the time.
I know. And the other thing I was gonna mention to you was that, and I mentioned this to you like a couple of days when we had our meeting. I was literally just this young, passionate guy
Yeah.
messing around in my bedroom.
Yeah.
That was it. Like I had the idea. I was like, "Oh, this will be cool." Like you know when you have all these like pop culture things in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, it would be cool if we do this and that." And I was like self-taught. You know how you told me you self-taught yourself, like Final Cut Pro or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what software I was using back then, but I assure you, it was not some great software. And we're talking like a decade or more ago.
more,
It's
yeah,
over
more.
10 years.
So you can
'cause,
imagine the
Over
level
10
of
years,
software that was
yeah.
available then.
like
Like
15 years ago, I believe.
yeah, it was I just put some stuff together and like, you know. So to think that thing I did in my bedroom fully intimidated this great man that sits before us here.
What do
Do you know what? Not
It's-
just him. It also put a lot of promoters on their toes, because that era, that period,
Yeah.
a lot of people, if you couldn't like beat that, they had to just go back to re-strategize themselves.
Yeah.
And I know a lot
Yeah.
of people to today that couldn't come out of there. they remained there, locked out, and you know that was it. So shout out to Femi Mode, man.
Wow. So
Honestly.
we impacted the game
But
like
this
that.
But this is the thing. But
The Afrobeat game.
But this
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
thing. You did that out of passion. You were not competing with anybody.
Nah, not at all.
You were in your own. You didn't even know who, if there was anybody else there.
Yeah. You know, I just wanted to do cool shit. I was there. I thought like, this will just look cool.
Yeah.
I was always about that, like, ooh, this will look cool. Like, let's just do this cool stuff. And that was it for me. I didn't even know like many other promoters or whoever. Like, I just thought, hey, you know, I'm with Rockin' with Made.
Yeah.
Let's put out some cool,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
And it was cool because I remember at the time that video, as I said, I'm not gonna lie, that video is what did it for me. I couldn't stand you. I mean, like, no, as a person, me and you were always cool.
Yeah.
But creatively, I couldn't stand you. It was just like, this guy's too good. Like, my thing was, how do I catch up? That was my thing. But in that moment, did you ever feel vulnerable? Did you ever feel fear? Did you ever think of failing? I mean, what would failure have looked like to you?
That's a very, very interesting question because I never actually, obviously like this a while ago, but thinking back on it, I never actually felt like any sort of fear of failure. If we're talking about like, you know, just putting out videos and
I'm
stuff
just
like
looking
that for
at
like
everything you were
promo.
doing. Just
Right.
whatever you were doing at the time.
I think you guys might agree with this, right? Like we were on a high then. I think
Yeah,
every
true,
one of us
true.
that was sort of involved, like we
True.
were on a high. It's like, to me, my memories of back then were quite good. Like,
Yeah, it was
you know,
fun.
yeah,
You know,
everything. Like most of the parties we
was
did were
popping,
popping.
you know, it was
Like
crazy.
everybody
you know?
wanted to come. Like, you know, everybody kind of
different
knew
ends.
us. Like,
Let me then throw this out there
Yeah.
then, to both of you. Were you guys on a high? It's not in terms of the business side of things,
Right.
but in your personal lives, do you feel because you had some sort of a security because people loved what you were doing? Is that like
I think that might have played a role. Because think about it, like we were like, I know back then that was like early to mid 20s for us, age wise.
Yep.
So, you know, I look at people like that around that age now, and like they're the popping guys in town. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, I was gassed though.
Who?
I was kind of gassed then though still.
We all were.
I was like mad gassed.
We
'cause
all were.
What?
We all were.
But do you know what I mean? Like to be throwing parties, like people call you from different places. You know, they want to link up with you. They want to come to your parties, book tables. Forget the business side, but
Yep.
we was just enjoying it and was young as well. Uni
Yeah.
days. You know,
Young
everyone at uni knew
guys.
you. People want to just be friends with you or even have your
Yeah.
number.
young guys doing it.
You know, we're just
you know?
young kids, you know, with direction at some point. You know, but yeah, it was mad fun. I enjoyed it.
Same here. I think I was just having fun and lots of it.
I find that so funny because before you came on board,
Yeah.
I know the parties were fun.
Yeah.
I don't remember the fun part, and I tell you the reason why. I was always the guy at the back
I was gonna speak for you anyways.
because I was the one making sure nobody was taking the money. Do you see what I'm trying to say to you?
True, yeah.
I was the
So,
one always making sure there was no trouble.
you didn't even party actually.
I didn't party.
You didn't party, yeah.
Like
You and
Were
Jason.
we
Shout out to
having fun
Jason,
at your
man.
expense?
yeah, like literally, I would only come on the dance floor after people had stopped coming in. So for
Now,
me,
you know, now you're mentioning it, I remember
Those
you know, like
days.
how memories come back to you. I never thought about that till you mentioned it now,
like that
and
was
I can literally have memories of you walking
Walking around,
after.
yeah.
I can vividly see it in my mind right
You
now.
with that's Jason, right? Is it Jason?
who
Charlie.
Charlie,
Yeah. You and Charlie.
yes,
Yeah.
Charlie,
The mixed race
yes,
guy.
yeah.
Shout out to Charlie, man. Where's Charlie now? What's he doing?
Charlie's doing big stuff, very big stuff. He was mentioning Richard Blackwood at one time. I'm not sure if he's still doing that, but he was also working with Black Grape.
Nice.
So yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
I've heard
He
of
was
Black
doing,
Shout out to
Back
Charlie,
then, yeah.
Jason Mixed Masters.
yeah.
You know,
So-
those are the guys then.
So you see, this is the thing. you guys were having a fun time with what you were doing. For me, again, I was always operating out of fear. I can't afford to let something go wrong. I can't afford to let there be trouble. I can't afford to for Smade to lose money. So I was on the defensive every time. Hence, when I saw your video, I was on the defensive, which is not a good place to operate out of, I guess.
I don't know, I think once you said what you said just now, that like you had to like look after certain things
Yeah.
in order to allow certain other things to happen. So you were playing a very crucial role as we were. We might have been having more fun,
Yeah.
but like you also have to realize that like that fun aspect is also important to what we were doing.
Yes.
Being able to walk around the
Yes,
party, make
agree.
sure guys are okay. Like, anyone could have come up to Sharif like, Sharif, this champagne I ordered is not here yet, or anything, or my girls are outside, they can't get in. He'll sort that out.
Yeah.
All this quick thing. Whilst you were there protecting your aspect of things. So it's almost like without you, it wouldn't have gone well. But also without what
you were
the
doing,
rest of us
I wouldn't
were
need to
doing,
be there at all in the first
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
You're absolutely right.
So we
there.
all had an important role to play.
So there again, I'm trying to get sort of nuggets out of here.
Yeah,
So it seems like everybody had a trust in each other in the roles that we were playing.
exactly.
So I wasn't the guy to go and to get the girls in. I'm not that.
Yes.
Like that's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys, you were good with people and you had fun in the party. I worked outside of the party.
And you know how important that role you played was? It's almost like degrees of trust. Your Smade's cousin, he trusted you completely to handle that.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a very
Do you
deep
know what?
level of trust in someone.
Yeah.
You just
And
balance the
trust
equilibrium.
Yeah.
you had in Smade or I had in Smade made sure like we trusted whoever he put at the door.
At the door to make sure everything was
So
right.
you see how the level of trust works.
Yeah.
So you balance, it's all got to
Yeah.
balance itself.
Hence that
And
level
like-
of trust spread.
And that trust allowed him to be able to be on the floor or wherever he was doing his thing,
Yeah.
knowing that at the end of the night, he'll come back. The money is safe. It's been protected throughout the night.
Yep.
And
Yep. True.
the
true.
money can be used to then towards the next party,
next parties,
whatever,
yeah.
You know what? That's quite interesting. But I'm gonna have to mess it up for all of us now.
Oh,
That was the moment of high.
right.
A lot of us have many happy stories
Right.
during that Smade era. We'll call it. I mean, this is not anything to do with Smade
Yeah,
as in
yeah.
Junior himself.
Yeah.
So at that time when we were involved with Smade, the organization, so to speak, the movement, that was a Smade era for all of us.
Very
And
much
then
so.
obviously we all had to go off and do our own personal things. And we all, well, I'm not sure about you, Femi, but we went through low periods at some points in time.
Oh, I did too.
You did too.
Yeah, I think everyone of us went through low periods in,
course,
that,
right.
in our own little ways.
Yeah. And I think anytime you come off a high, like, I mean, it's almost like, sorry to use the whole drugs analogy, but like, when someone that does drugs takes a drug, it puts them on a high,
Yeah.
but then they come down.
Yeah.
It's almost similar
hits
to
you.
what we went
Yeah.
through. Like, we were on a high during the whole era, and when it ended for us in different ways, I believe that's like
The low, yeah.
where the low came from. Not necessarily saying that it was directly related, but
It's
yeah,
just for
I
whatever
just feel
the
like
personal reason.
for my opinion, anyways,
yeah,
was all young
Yeah.
yeah,
and life happened.
yeah.
You were finishing university.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was just fun.
Yeah.
Today, you can be a promoter and full-time job. Yesterday I met with him, DJ So Good. Shout out to him. I'm like, so what are you doing now? They're like, bro, I'm now DJing full-time. I'm like, seriously? Well, that's cool. Because you can afford to do that full-time now, by letting go of your fears. You understand? A lot of us still had fears. We had to have that life, that stability, that peace of mind. Because yes, it was party time, it was fun. You know, you said the low times, even the low times also happened in the party days as well, whereby the turnout wouldn't be great.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's not great, the pocket is not great. To get, I'm like, damn, I have to promote a lot harder.
Yeah.
You have to work a lot harder to get people to come in and,
Yeah.
you know, to either spend money or pay to get into the club.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, there was life happened for you, you know, family, work, kids, in the sense. So that's just my opinion on that, anyways. Life happened, and that just went. You get, and also if you don't owe the dream to your own self, you can't continue pushing it.
So what you're saying is, regardless of what happens, so let's forget about the fun that we had. If you're not working towards a vision that you have for yourself, then you're bound to hit some sort of an emotional, mental sort of instability, so to speak.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, really.
Wow, that's a very good point right there.
Because I remember at the time, that was one of my biggest struggles, finding my own purpose. I couldn't, it's taken me a very long time to find purpose. And even when you even think you found a purpose, how do I put my purpose or my vision into fruition, into reality?
Yeah.
So when you left Smade, you started your own thing.
Yeah. I don't think it was immediate.
No,
It was
of
immediate,
course.
yeah.
No, I don't.
I think for like everyone of us, it wasn't really immediate.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the drug analogy again, the drug was so high that when it eats you, you kind of went all the way down, like deep down under.
Yeah.
Then you have to find yourself back. Hence why I said vulnerability. You know, it was so beautiful that by the time it wasn't, because people knew you for. Or for me anyways, they knew me for Sharif Smade. So
Absolutely.
it became a case of creating your own identity,
Yes.
being your own person. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
And which meant that I had to be vulnerable to some people. Because some people like knew me based on that that situation or that scenario or that era.
Yeah.
You know, and it's got nothing to do with Junior. It's just what it was. It was a part of a movement that moved Afrobeat.
Yeah.
To get, you know, shout out to Black Knights, they started before us back then. But, you know, Smith changed everything. And it's still moving forward, which we're all very proud of.
Do you know this situation is so funny, right? That era was so funny that obviously now Smade is Smade. Like most people recognize Junior as
Smade. Yeah.
But back then,
Everybody was
depending
Smade.
on where you were coming from or who brought you to the party, everyone was Smade.
Was Smade, yeah. And we had a little Smade
Like some
shirt.
people like did not even know. Obviously, that's like obviously Junior's name, like your family name, whatever we want to call it. Yeah, everyone had the Smade t-shirts.
T-shirts and stuff. Yeah.
I remember
It
the
was
Smade
like-
waistcoats.
Waistcoats, yes. yes,
wow.
yes.
There was
waistcoats.
Smade waistcoats.
Yeah, I remember. But like, there was people that will see you, Sharif, and be like, "Oh yeah, Smade."
Smade.
Alpha.
Smade Alpha,
Or
yeah.
people that will see me and be like, "Oh yeah, Smade."
I think I've always
we
had
were
the
all
Smade cousin.
Smade.
I think
Yes,
I always
yes,
had
yes,
the
Smade
Smade
cousin,
cousin.
Smade
too.
cousin.
I always had the Smade cousin.
And even funnier, I was in Lagos like earlier in the year, I think around May or something like that. I went for my cousin's wedding. So I was in Lagos, right? I was chilling with like a new friend of mine. I made friends with him last year
Okay.
in Lagos. So obviously when I went back this year, I was like, let's catch up. So he now took me to another friend's place, like, you know, a female friend's place. We're all hanging out. And I then got there and realized I knew the girl. I was like, I know you. Like, remember, like, you know, we knew each other from London back in the day. She was like, oh, yeah. She was now trying to place my face and where she knows me from.
You're like Smade.
Yep. She even, like, butchered the name. She was like, oh, S-Made. I was like...
Oh, yeah, that was time with like self-made,
Yeah.
little shirts and S for...
Like,
Yes.
S-Made, I know you. I was like, yeah, S-Made, yeah. So, yeah, you can see, like, people, till this day, that's where most people know me from. Like, most people
Same,
will see me
same,
and be
same.
like, oh, yeah.
Same.
Like, oh, yeah.
You know what's funny? This is because you're right. That time was a good high for me as well. However, what I struggled with so we were all part of a crew. Everybody played their roles.
Yeah.
And that was fine. how did you get to stand out and stand on your own? Because that was a major thing that I struggled with. It was hard for me, not Smade, just in general, in life in general,
Yeah.
for me to go on my own and say, let me do this for me.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do, and it's just me taking on that responsibility. How was that for you guys?
I think for me, luckily there were like people that recognized my creative input and like wanted to work with me based on that. So that was helpful in a way. And then I also like I said, I really enjoyed, creating stuff. Like I was telling you the story of like what inspired me to go and do Afrobeat karaoke.
Yeah.
It was I used to attend this other karaoke event, hip hop karaoke, like literally one of the biggest, if not the biggest in London. And I was just there one day. I saw that they had created. I think I went on their website. I don't know what I was doing there, but I saw that they had an Afrobeat section on their
okay.
website, but it was empty. They had not like put any songs in it. And today, by the way, like they've completely changed that. People now perform Afrobeat songs.
Oh, okay.
In
at
their
that,
thing,
at
events.
Info Karaoke. But back then, like almost 5-6 years ago now, there was no Afrobeat songs but you could see that they had the intention there. So I was just like, you know what, like, and Afrobeat was popping, like, like it was bubbling up, like we loved our music, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, why don't we create this? But this also now links back to the whole thing of like fear and not wanting to do something on your own, which is very difficult anyways when it comes to events. No one ever really does it on their own. So I was looking for people to partner up with to make it happen. And I actually took the idea around to a couple of, or more than a couple of people who passed on it till I linked up with Sweezy and Tyson, who they believed in it. They were like, yeah, let's make this happen. But at the time, we were all looking for what to do next.
Wow.
Yeah, we were all looking for what to do next. So they're like, why not? Let's do this.
I've just got two things from what he said there. One, time is important. So you've done your research, you then had the vision.
Yeah.
So it's like you couldn't just rush into it.
No.
You needed to have the vision. You needed to take time to have the vision.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, you needed the right people
Yes.
to work with.
Yes.
Because if you had worked with me at that time, I'm not going to lie, I'll leave you high and dry. I'm serious. No, it's true. I wasn't there. That was not where I was at the time.
Yeah.
I can do events with my eyes closed. That's not the problem. But the motivation, the dedication and commitment to do something, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to see it
That
through.
is very key.
You're not going to
those
see it
three
through.
words you mentioned: passion, motivation. What was the one?
Dedication and commitment. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely crucial.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Absolutely
And
crucial.
that's how Afrobeats karaoke was born.
Yeah, I think we wanted it bad. We're like, we have to do something.
And I think
I-
wait, how long ago was this?
We're
By the
talking
way.
like 5 or 6 years ago.
Probably just when everybody started to jump on the
Afrobeat, yeah.
Yeah.
Genre, yeah.
Oh,
Probably
that's
like 5 or 6 years ago. Because, like, when I come up with an idea and I think it's a very good idea, I get very, like, motivated to make it happen. Like, when you just believe, like, yo, this is a good idea.
I can relate to that.
Like,
I can relate to that.
some people might not see it. But remember, like I just said, like, I took it to a few people, but they were like, nah,
No.
I don't think that'll work. Like, what's that? Karaoke? Like,
It was scared of Afrobeat. That's what it
people
was.
yeah,
It was just scared of
like,
it.
But yeah, but the
People
Afrobeat
don't
wasn't
wanna do
commercial at the
karaoke.
time in this country.
like Afrobeat karaoke. Like,
Yeah.
what's that?
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because it was your vision, and you didn't give up on your vision. You stuck to it.
Yes.
You didn't give up because other people didn't buy into it. I'm not going to lie to you. Another one of my weaknesses. Back then, I would have given up. If people are not biting, I would have honestly. I've given up on many ideas.
And I've
like
always
that.
told him that. You always give up so easily.
I give up so easily.
That's something I don't do.
used to give up so
Oh, yeah,
easily.
I like that, yeah.
I used to give up so easily because even having this podcast and having the studio, I've spoken about this a lot.
It was all a dream.
It was. I didn't look. I didn't believe it would happen.
Yeah.
Even when I was planning, like literally, I even had. Did I show you the sketches?
Yeah, you showed me.
I had sketches of how I want the studio.
Do you know
to
what?
look.
It became
I still
too,
didn't believe.
It became too addicted to the idea.
Yeah.
Because I like sketches, the drawings. I'm like, mate, what's going on? Calm down. You know, day mark my right.
Literally, I knew what color. These things that you're seeing here, they're not a mistake. Literally, I planned it to it. But as you said, one, I was already vulnerable. I knew I needed something. I knew I was already in not a low point, but I knew, right, I'm ready to achieve what I need to achieve, no matter what it took. I was passionate about the idea. And I said, you know what, I'll achieve it regardless. And I'm not going to lie to you. You know, even when I got this place and I was telling you, I was talking to you about, starting a studio, I didn't believe I was going to do it, I didn't believe it was going to come to fruition.
Right.
But I just knew that, you know what, I want this. I needed a win. So, and you know what, as you said, as long as the idea was there and I was passionate about it, I just kept on going.
One quick thing I want to pick up on what you said. Like, are you literally telling me like you visualized
Everything.
all of this in your mind?
Literally, I
think
Femi.
that's a mark of a creative, like
Femi.
a good creative
Femi.
right there. Yeah,
I went to his house.
yeah.
The plan was have a haircut, go with my son, just chill for a few minutes, go back home.
Yeah.
I was there till Sunday.
Wow.
oh yeah,
I was there till Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what day did you get there?
On Friday.
Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And he showed me everything.
Yeah.
In fact, we went to buy the
One of
cords.
the cables.
The cables,
Yeah,
cables for the mics.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
he showed me like the paperwork, the drawings and everything. He gave me a list.
Yeah.
And this was a month ago, mate.
Yes.
A month. And I'm like, bro, he said, nah, I know the diameters, the dimension. I'm like, mate, this is not a movie, Like, Baba, trust me. Like, I know what I won't do. No worry, but God will do them.
Yeah.
Then since that day, I'll call him like, okay, how far is it going? What's going on? What's the plan? How's it happening? Do you get? And look here today, we're here.
Yeah. And thank you, big up to you as well. And I'm going to shout out some people actually because they've stuck by me for everything. Sheriff is definitely one of them. Nana, my sister Titi.
right.
Shout out to TT.
And my wife as well. I'm not gonna lie to you. My wife just allowed me to be
Man,
me.
God bless that woman.
She just allowed me. Like
God
I
bless
wasn't.
her, man.
I've not really been at home, and I'm still involved with the kids and whatnot. But there was a week. Remember the week when I was really putting this place together? I literally was here. Earliest I would leave here was 2 a.m. in the morning.
Mate, I'll drive all
Every
the way
day.
to Crawley. Back
Every
to
day.
Crawley.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. It's good to have very good people around you, even if they're not doing for you.
Yes.
Just to motivate you.
Support.
We've also got another guest joining us right now. And again, in fact, oh my God, this is so funny. We've known Rochelle from the Smate days as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
So, can you please introduce yourself?
Drum roll.
Yeah.
Hey.
Drum roll.
Come on. She's trying.
Hi, I'm Rochelle.
So, Rochelle was also around during the times when we were involved with Smade as well. We were talking about the beauty of vulnerability and how we've tried to, in different ways, to overcome our fears and insecurities. And we were literally talking about visualizing, having a vision, working towards things, even if people don't believe in that vision. So, we're about to finish off. If you were to give somebody a piece of advice on being vulnerable, or, how to deal with vulnerability, or being courageous, what would you say? What would you tell them? In fact, I've got another idea. Oh, this is going to be good.
Oh my God. Why?
What would you advise yourself, your from 13 years ago? So the person who you were 13 years ago, I believe that's how long we've been rolling. No, maybe 11 years ago.
Nah, more than that.
No, it can't be because my son was born then. My first son's 13.
Yeah, 13
And
years ago.
Smade started, but we started after,
Just a year after.
2 years after. Why are you arguing with me?
My
I'm
son
your
is 10.
elder.
My son
I'm
is
your
10.
I'm your
My
elder.
son is 10.
Yes, your son is
And I've
10.
known Femi like before then.
Yes, so it's 11 years ago.
And my son came to light in the down season of Smade.
Oh, no, I'm
the
not.
earliest-
Whoa.
no,
Yeah, like the down times, like the low times. No, not the low times.
Oh, so
Yeah, the low
I
times.
heard something different.
The low times, the low times. No, no, he got
I heard
to
something different.
No,
I
don't say
know.
that.
And you then made me hear
No,
something
mate, no,
different.
you know what? Because don't forget, right? We talk about Smith as a team, not as an individual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So when I say Smith, we all Smith.
Oh, no, that's not what I heard. But let's not go into what I
Yeah,
heard.
let's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's
let's
not.
not go
Yeah.
more.
That's not what I heard. So it doesn't even matter. So who you were 10 years ago,
Yes.
advise your, minus 10. How would you advise yourself? Rochelle, let's start with you. On being vulnerable, courageous, facing your fears. Or we can come back.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
I know it's very new to the situation, so I think
the
she's
point on the
still
spot.
kind of overwhelmed.
Rochelle's a
But yeah.
record breaker, by the way, but we'll talk about that right after.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait for that.
Don't worry. So
The advice I'll give myself like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
like sort of knowing what I know now,
yeah.
that is actually very tough. But I think, and I can link this back to something Sharif mentioned earlier as well, that like, when certain situations happen in your life, you can have like, I think it's like, do they call it like fight or flight?
Fight or flight, yes.
Yeah. So, that's the advice I'll give myself from like 10 years ago. I'll be like, when situations happen, don't run away from them. Try and, as much as you can, to tackle them head on. Because I feel like if you run away from situations or whatever, like, don't deal with it, like, sweep it under a rug or whatever, which I did a lot. And it doesn't usually end up well, if at all. I don't think it ever end up well at all. So I would say, like, just, try and, like, tackle situations that happen head on. If you have people around you that you can discuss with, seek advice from, that might be able to help you through the situation, then do that as well. And, like, don't always try and, like, take on things. Don't try and, like, put everything on your own shoulders, if that makes sense. Share your problems. I think there's another saying that goes, a problem shared is
I've solved it. I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Finish it off for me. But yeah, that would be my advice.
So in essence, when you're trying to deal with a problem,
Yeah.
deal with the problem.
Yes.
Don't run from it.
Yeah.
Face it.
When you're faced with fight or flight, always fight it.
Yeah, stay and fight. But I mean, when we say fight, I don't mean
Not physical.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
that. No, in terms of it's metaphoric. I get that. Okay.
totally, yeah.
And share with people.
Yeah, share with people.
The right people, I must say.
Exactly.
Share with the
'Cause-
right people.
Yeah.
People who you can confide in.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Femi.
Tell
Mr.
you what's
Sharif.
funny, I actually support what Femi said.
No, say your own thing.
No, because
No, don't be a supporter club.
Because
Okay.
accepting your circumstances in life
Yeah.
is the first step to changing situations. I'm
Okay.
trying to say, and accepting you're in a situation or your vulnerability, the
Yeah.
beauty of it, also elevates you.
Yeah.
Is the first point to take care of the pain. So yeah, I support what you said pretty much from a different angle,
But in a way, you've kind of said something different. You've said accept your vulnerability,
because
like accept where you are in your
in your situation, in
Yeah.
life, because that's the only way you could. Because going back to the old topic we've had from the beginning, I had to accept my situation.
Yeah.
I have to own up to it. I have to find my own identity and find myself. And if I didn't find myself, I would still be known as like you said, you know, you went to Nigeria and someone still called you this, called you that. You know, I was to be known as Sharif this,
Yeah.
Sharif that.
Yeah.
But I had to accept that situation. I had to own up to it. And then from acceptance, you know, I became vulnerable. And being vulnerable meant that I had to go with different people to tell them, you know, this is where I am right now. You know, what's the way forward?
Right.
You know, and that also helped me find myself, elevate myself, which I believe I'm still finding myself. You know?
And that's a very fair point, Miss Rochelle.
Dave both kind of said it all.
Wait, what's this? I'm supporting femi. Like,
No, it's true.
look, you guys are sounding like Gordon Brown in the 2011 or what? When was that debate? Like when he was saying, "I support Nick Clegg."
Politics
Like-
reference.
Like, are you Gordon Brown? Why are you Gordon Brown?
Oh, are you Nick Clegg?
Gordon Brown, Rochelle?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
That was not. Listen, I would never say that about Rochelle. And just in case you're hearing children, yes, we do have children in the studio.
We're all family men
Yes.
and women as well.
We've got the boys who will be carrying on the mode, the international mode. We've got young mode
Yeah,
1
the
and young mode
features.
2.
Do you know what's so funny? Obviously, like, I'm not gonna like say the government name.
Yeah.
but you do know that's not my actual name, right?
I know.
Okay,
I know this.
I know.
No, just checking.
I know.
just
I know.
checking.
I know.
Just
We
checking.
know. We know.
Just checking.
I've got your name saved on my phone.
Okay. All right, cool.
I've got your yeah.
Where'd
I
you
don't
get
have.
that
I
from?
don't have.
We had a very good conversation. We'll have once we finish the podcast.
Okay,
we'll have the.
okay.
So, the only thing I'm gonna say to myself 10 years ago would be that whatever idea you have, it's okay for people not to buy into it
Yeah, run with it.
as long as you believe it.
Yes.
It's like you have to, like, if you believe it, it does not matter what anybody else says. But once you've got that idea or the vision, you go for it.
Yeah.
And even if you have people like Femi Motu who are doing amazing videos, don't let that intimidate you. Stay in your lane and do what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah?
Don't
Stay
let
in your
it-
lane, do what you're doing.
Don't let
Because you never know. And it's so funny because we had the conversation about this already.
Yeah.
You never know. People might not be as good as they seem, or people might just be doing things, but you're actually better.
Yes.
You literally don't
just
know.
don't know, yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you don't do it, you will
You'll
never know.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that's what I would say to myself. Just go for it. It doesn't matter what the vision is. As long as you believe in it, go for it. You have to work on it and go for it.
Can I add to that?
Oh, yes, of course. Rochelle, I'm desperate for you to add
Come
to it.
on.
No, allow me.
Okay.
I was also going to say, like, don't compare yourself with
Other people.
people who's probably got similar ideas as you, because then that can be a bit off-putting as well. So as you said, just
Yeah.
believe in what you believe in for yourself.
Thank you very much.
And she spoke. Finally.
Yeah,
Yes.
Do you see
it
how?
takes me time.
But you see,
Get comfortable now.
and it was graceful the way she even said it.
Yep.
I'm like, your harsh voice.
I've been Nigeria guy now. We've seen.
Again,
I
you
beg.
See, look at that. You see, look at that thing, yeah. It means you're over talking.
Hello. Hi.
You see, it's going, yeah. You see when Rochelle was talking, it was right in the middle, but yours, it's hitting both
You know,
top
to
and
be
bottom.
honest with you, I think it's the mic.
No,
Move
it's
back a little bit. Just see. Yeah. It's the mic. Yeah. Testing 1, 2.
Okay, can you? Right. So clearly, we've come to the end of today's episode of the Noble Faculty Podcast. I want to thank all our guests, the lovely Miss Rochelle, delightable and graceful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on.
It's okay.
I was going to say, Rochelle's a record breaker, right?
Go on.
Do you know why? Rochelle's the first woman to be featured on the Noble Faculty Podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, partly for like
Well done.
10 seconds.
Not partly. Still part
But
of
yeah,
it.
that's nice. Thank you.
It doesn't matter when
done,
those
well done.
those who started at the beginning and those who started at the end, who came in at the end,
Mm-hmm.
will all receive the blessing. So it doesn't matter. So thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me.
International
I
mode,
wish you saw Rochelle
Party
rolling
mode.
her eyes just then. when you said that.
Postcode mode. I don't know what
Postcode
that-
mode.
family mode,
Yeah, is it DMP?
Yeah,
DMP
yeah.
mode.
Well, yeah.
DMP Association.
I'll take it all. I'll take it
Afrobeat karaoke mode,
I'll take it all.
cool mode,
Local mode.
local mode.
Are you local?
Actually, Parawa.
So, Femi Mo, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate
Thank you
your
for
time.
having
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's it.
That's fine. I'm not gonna Drake. It's okay. I'm not gonna Drake.
And I want to say thank you very much to my very good friend Sharif, who also helped. He literally, his sweat and time went into helping me build the studio as well. So thank you very much, Sharif, for your time and for your support. And that's today. That's the end of today's podcast. Remember, aspire, act, achieve. We are noble. We are awesome. And God bless. We are awesome.
We are noble.
We are able.
You have just listened to the Noble Faculty Podcast. You have been put on this earth for a purpose.
We are noble.
If you are inconsistent with something, then you are consistent. Don't waste your gift.
The time is always right to do right.
Lead, follow, or get out of the way. Get out of the fear zone. Villagers remind you of how far you have come and how far you need to go. You have just listened to.
You have just listened to
The Noble Faculty Podcast. The Noble Faculty Podcast.
the Noble Faculty Podcast.
You have just listened to the Noble Faculty Podcast.